Okay, we'll call the meeting to order here.
Okay, I gotta get glasses on. Okay, Susie Bauer. Here. Linda Bird. Here. Klaus Heitman. Here. Tom Karthauser.
Here.
Joe McAdams.
Here.
John Miners.
Here.
Mary Katz. Here. Jean Schultz. Roger Walsh.
Here.
Jason Wanzer.
Here.
April Jurgens.
Shelley Jurgens.
Oh, Shelley Jurgens. What did I do here? Shelley Jurgens. April Reska was a no. And then Bruce Tuniski, John Waddell, and Fred Chowkin.
Here.
Okay.
Okay, very good. Let's go on to the approval of the minutes of June 2nd, 2016. We have those typed up. Is there any discussion on those meeting minutes as they're presented to you? Okay.
I move to approve the minutes of June 2nd, 2016.
Who did that?
Jonathan, and I'll second that. Okay, any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, say no. Okay. We'll move on now to public comments here. So what we'll do here for public comments is we'll open the floor up here for anybody that would like to have anything to say here. Right now we have this clocked at 10 minutes, but we can be a little flexible on that. Please just state where you're from and have at that. We like to kind of keep those limited to about 2 or 3 minutes just for respect to give everybody a chance to hold.
Yeah, Mr. Chair, just so you know, everybody knows, we're going to be on the agenda, we're talking about 2 specific areas of the village. The public participation plan that set this process in place to amend the comprehensive plan allows, during discussion on those specific areas, the committee to allow feedback from stakeholders of that area, representatives of property owners and property owners. So we suggest as staff that the committee allow, at the beginning of the period where we're talking about the key areas, for property owners to just state their thoughts about what their property. But yes, I'm not saying you can't talk under public comment period here, but just say there's going to be an opportunity to talk about your area more specifically than just general public comment.
Okay, very good. Okay, so with that, does anybody have any comments? No?
Just want to hear what's coming. Here, comment.
My name is Ray Gooden. I work for Anderson Commercial Group. I represent a number of properties in the village, specifically about this discussion tonight on Doug DeVax, Andy's, and the Summers property that are in this zone for multi-housing. And I'm asking that, we're talking about zoning tonight, that the DeVax property in particular be considered for multi-housing zoning, or I'm sorry, mixed-use zoning.
Or planning, that's enough.
Mixed use.
Planning.
Not zoning,
Land use.
land use.
Land use.
Right.
Excuse me, Ray, you said that, what was the second one?
Summers and Andy right here.
And what, could you describe that parcel?
That parcel is the 2-acre parcel right across from Pro Health
On Maple?
on Maple Court, north of the Summers 100 acres.
Okay. We'll be able to.
Can you point that out to us?
Sure.
Is that 3D greenhouse?
3D greenhouse was the back.
Okay, that's what it is.
Here's where the cursor is, that's Andy's property.
Correct.
Yeah, that's Andy's.
And as you can see, there's just a line running through it.
The purple is the summer farm,
Here's,
right there.
this is Summers,
Yeah.
right here. So just so everybody knows, this is the 2009 land use plan map that was approved in 2009 that we're looking to, well, maybe amend. So this land use here, the purple is business park, the brown crosshatch is transitional residential, and the, which shows up as burnt orange on the color, it's red in reality, that's commercial, business and commercial, right now.
Show it at the back property.
In the back across
Okay,
the
the
street.
back property is right in here. This is Maple Avenue. This is the current Pro Health facility right here. This is the back property, and they also own this 35 acre right there. Just for frame of reference, here's the end of Wolf Run right now. Here's the new Lynch dealerships with the cursor that I'm showing right there.
Is that dotted red line on the proposed road?
Yes, the current land use plan shows a proposed road to go through there.
That will need to be talked about because
Right.
Pro Health has made an acquisition and the road runs right through their acquisition. Not that it's gotta be demolished, but it just needs to be moved. So, we can talk about those things.
Yeah, it's a planned road.
Okay,
That's great.
thanks, Rick. Any other public comments?
Thank you. My name is Kim Seidel. I'm at N9202 Stone School Road. And the comprehensive plan, this will be amended to the current 2035 plan. Is that correct? Are you looking at, so this will be a revision of that? Okay, well, I would suggest that you keep the plan along Stone School Road as it was previously submitted and approved. You do have medium-sized lots that are identified for plan to the west of Stone School Road. And I would advise that you do not succumb to development pressure for smaller sized lots that you might see in the Potters Lake Miramar area, and keep those lots to the west, more medium size. You also have a beautiful vantage point on the south, the west side of Stone School, 43. With the interstate there, it's probably going to end up mixed use, but at the top of the ridge, it's currently planned for smaller lots. I suggest, I don't know who owns it, but that might be some nicer medium-sized lots because of the view at the top of the hill. So my recommendation is to keep the plan as it's been approved by the 2035 plan. Okay.
Thanks, Kim. Bruce, can you point that out where that is?
Yeah, this is Stone School or Honeywell. It's Honeywell Village Stone School as you go into the current town of East Troy. This is the railroad tracks right here, I-43. And here we go. This is the blue. The northern part of the blue is McConaughey Baptist Church, and there's other property there on the blue is owned by McConaughey Baptist Church. This is the Miramar subdivision with the cursor right there. The boundary agreement between the village and the town of East Troy does specifically state, and this is the only section of any boundary agreement that the village has with either East Troy or the town of Quantico that references land use. The tier of potential lots, single-family lots, where I'm showing the cursor, has to be large lots, single-family. And I was going to mention that as part of my presentation, but since it came up, I might as well talk about it right along here. And that's specifically in the boundary agreement, so that has to stay that way.
So which parcels was Kim referring to?
And your property is, ma'am?
Right, we're right at Stone School in Miramar.
Right there.
And those lots are all planned to be medium size. And my advice is to keep them as planned and not go to
Yeah.
smaller lots.
Down in here, right.
You're saying we
So
can't
is that-
change that there or just to the north?
No,
Just to the north of
this-
Miramar subdivision.
That has to stay large lot.
Okay.
I wrote down that you were talking about land, lots on the west side of Stone School Road,
Well,
opposite the side of the street that you're on.
right, when I looked at the plan, the area I was suggesting larger lots is what I just learned due to your development plan. which is
only parcel-
It's already identified that way. I did not know that. It doesn't matter to me. I just don't want to see a lot of small lots chopped up in there. And we're probably the last section that you'll see.
Sure. Thank you.
Any other comments? Okay, very good. So we'll move on forward to number 5, village staff presentation of background information for land use considerations for the planning area southeast of I-43. Bruce, I'll let you take it.
I'm going to use the mic just to make sure that everybody can hear me well. And as past meetings, I'll just use the computer and the cursor to point out things on the map. Sorry if I don't make eye contact. I think we just want out this bit. Maybe easier than to do that. Just first of all, I'm Bruce Kinieski, the village planner. Even though I was part of the roll call, I'm not a voting member of the committee. This is a steering committee. Many of you see new faces, and which is good. That's why we sent out the letters to get your feedback because you're our stakeholders in these areas we're going to be talking about. The village board formed this 13-member committee. They, in turn, at the end of the process, will be making a recommendation to the Planning Commission and the village board regarding updates to the comprehensive master plan, specifically just in land use. To my right is village administrator John Whitell, and I'd like to state that John and I will be putting together and hosting an open house for the entire village and anybody else who has interest in the comprehensive plan update to meet with us and talk to us as an informal basis in this room 2 weeks from now, this starting at 4 p.m., going about 6:30, so that you can think about what you hear tonight. Yeah, June 28th, and give us more feedback. And it won't be a steering committee meeting. Steering committee members are definitely invited, but it's not a requirement that you be there because I know everybody's really busy. But it's just, but all your comments will be passed along to the steering committee. The purpose of updating this comprehensive master plan, you've probably been reading the newspapers or been hearing out and about around town. There's a lot of land use issues coming up in the village the last couple of years or last year or so. And so the village board thought, and we're talking to the planning commission and everybody, that we should update this comprehensive master plan because coming out of recession, there's a lot of things that have changed. Property owners and potential developments have told us things have changed, that at least take a look at several aspects of land use in the village. The committee has gone through and prepared and discussed and approved 20 different land use categories. Many of them are standard, like environmental and recreational land uses, institutional land uses. The focus has been, and a lot of discussion has been on several of the land uses that would allow mixed use or business mixed use, where there be a mix of business and residential in certain land use areas, and the types and categories and density of multifamily districts. That's been the bulk of the conversation. But in addition to that, the committee has approved a high-intensity business district, and that was thought to be maybe good to go into this area we're talking about tonight. The area tonight that we're talking about is approximately 2 to 3 square miles in size. It involves several aspects of land use in and around the village that I want to take a few brief moments to talk about. Obviously, on this map, here's I-43, Highway 83. It involves the interchange area that I'm just highlighting. I'm just going to go through this quick, and if anybody has questions from the members of the committee, I can review it in greater detail. And then going down, I'll go zoom out a little bit. And this, again, this is the current land use map. The current land use goes for a business park to the environmental corridor along Maple Avenue, several hundred feet east of the back property that we talked about. And the land use plan, as you can see with the blue line here on the right, that's our planning area into the town of Vernon. By state law, any village in the state is allowed to have
what is called extraterritorial planning area of 1.5 miles from its current boundaries. So when we did the plan, that's 1.5 miles from the current boundaries. So you can see this is all large lot of agricultural planned land use at this current time. Going down Highway 83 further, this also involves land to the south, going all the way to Highway L, east of the railroad track, and to the corner of Highway L and Highway 83. The area that I'm outlining with the cursor right now is in the town of Waterford in Racine County. Again, we're planning this because we can at least look at the extraterritorial planning area. Under current state law, the village cannot annex land in another county if you're not already in that county, unless there's a boundary agreement. But we are planning the area out just in case state law changes, and just so we have some preparedness for people asking us what's the long-term plan land use of that area. On the other side of the boundary into Walworth County, the village does go almost down to L right now, what many of you know maybe as the Schultz Farm. That's all in the village right now. There's a lot of land right here that's not in the village, and John and I had an opportunity to talk to a nice gentleman before the meeting, asking a question. He owns property right in here somewhere. It's not in the village, but that, by the boundary agreement that the village has with the town of East Troy, will ultimately be in the village whenever the land develops or subdivided. That's a provision of the boundary agreement. If it doesn't develop, it doesn't have to be annexed or attached to the village. So that's the several aspects there to some of the properties we're talking about. So we have actually properties that are in 3 towns. The town of East Troy, the town of Waterford, and in the northern regions here, the town of Vernon. The village does not have a boundary agreement at the current time with the town of Vernon, although they have approached the village board to enter into boundary agreement discussions at least, and that is starting up probably soon, but nothing's imminent at this point in time. So many of you received letters that you're probably wondering, you live in the town of Vernon, or you live in the town of Waterford, or East Troy, why did you receive the letters? That's why you received the letters, but we want to make sure that you are aware of this process we're doing, so you do have some feedback. Maybe you'll be in the village ultimately, maybe not, who knows. But at least we have to plan for it. I've been a planner for 30-some years, and the moment you don't plan for something, it's going to happen. You need a plan. To just have some base information to react to, say 15 years from now, we just can't say we're not going to plan for that area. Well, the property owners have a right to know at least what might be the future land use of that property if it's changed from what the land use is currently. I want to mention to you this moment, for a moment, access points that are planned with Highway 83. Access or new access points to Highway 83 is controlled by the Wisconsin Department of Transportation. The village works with the Department of Transportation quite a bit. Probably not a week goes by we don't talk about coordinating with them. This is Wolf Run right here, the main drive into Home Depot, Walmart area, Pro Health, YMCA, and so on and so forth. This is New Dewey Drive, pointing the cursor here, with this is the location of the new Gearbox Express facility. The agreement with the Department of Transportation was, when we gained approval for this access point at Dewey Drive, that there will be eventually a 4-legged intersection providing access to what we call the Summers property. And I know the Department of Transportation have talked to us for many, many years saying, with the access to the Summers property, they would also want the access so you can cut through to Maple Avenue. Not that it has to be a straight shot access, as an arrow, but eventually there has to be some connection there. For new driveway, for a new access point, the next access point they will allow will be approximately right at this location. Because they have a minimum requirement, each access point has to be between 1,200 and 1,500 feet apart, or basically a quarter mile, the main access points. As well, they also have indicated that right in here will be a future access point if and when this land ever develops or redevelops. I know there's small lots in there, some houses in there, in amongst the trees and the environmental areas, the green developmental areas, and another access point will be the south of the green environmental area, long term. The Department of Transportation does have the major access points already mapped out. So that's something that we need to work around as far as land use that might impact decisions of land use. So are there any questions right now from members of the committee as far as my presentation of this overview of all the land uses? Again, the gray crosshatch here is industrial on the current plan. The solid brown is multifamily. The crosshatch brown is transitional or low density multifamily at this time. The red or burnt orange, commercial, purple, business park, and all the green are environmental areas, wetlands, and so on and so forth. Just so you know, we do have all this, the green environmental area shown on a current plan map was taken from information that was available at that time. We do know now that there's more mapped wetlands in this area, and the new maps will show that as well. For example, we now know there's a wetland in the right in this area in the far northwest corner of the Shoals property. So those are things that, and there's other scattered wetlands in this area as well. Any questions?
Bruce, I thought it might be helpful, we have so many new people here. Can you show the area we approved last meeting, that the same thing you sent us, that first screen? Put that screen back up and explain what we did there.
Okay, the orange colored area is called, as you see here, the Interstate Planning District. That within this area, it's another level of planning that we've implemented. And within this area, there's an opportunity for the committee and ultimately the village board to place higher intensity uses within this planning district. And the planning district here is I-43, a little bit east of the environmental corridor I talked to you about before, down to this is the this is the Washoe County, Racine County land coming down here and then into Walworth County, following Highway L. Basically following the main colors in the maps, the map I just showed you, with the exception of the Schultz property that is not included in this planning district. Likewise, there's another planning district that the committee adopted, and that is the area we're in right now. We call it the Main Street River South area that has potential for more intense land uses. More intense land uses mean you could have the opportunity to have high density multifamily and more intense land uses for commercial and business that has more lot coverage or potentially taller buildings in this area. Not that, I'm not saying, well, I don't want to speak for a committee, but I don't anticipate that, we're going to say, okay, the whole area is going to have 20-story buildings. No, I don't think that's where we're going with this. But more likely at in and around the interchange area. Of course, it's all to the committee to make recommendations that we'll be talking about in a few minutes.
Any questions for Bruce?
I just had one other thing to add to that. Part of what we did was to say that that business mixed-use area will stay in these two areas. So that they're not going to be at other places in the village. So it was a showing a graphic area that those type of businesses or those type of buildings or that type of development will be specifically in these two areas so that we don't have to worry about them just popping in someplace else.
Thanks, John. Okay. Very good. All right, so, thanks for that, Bruce. All right, so we're going to item number 6 here, review, discussion, and consideration of land use for the southeast interstate, Jeremy Long, Highway 3, and Road Health. Okay.
Okay,
I suggest maybe ask if any landowner after that presentation has interest in this area, maybe want to make this a short comment. And then secondly, the committee maybe talk in general, maybe a few minutes about land uses. And you just remember that you have those lists of land uses, and you brought them with you about the categories. There's the basic business commercial, there's the high intensity business commercial, the business mixed use you just talked about, land uses that are potential, the multifamily land use categories, single family, ranging from the large lot agricultural to the executive style large lot single family new land use category that has been added to the palette of potential land uses. And then we talk about areas specifically. Through this, I just want to show you something for a moment here. I am able, albeit limited in style in this, to, if we want, I knew this would happen as soon as I try to. I can draw. I'm just drawing a weird polygon here. That will show. I can draw over this map if you want to put land uses on directly onto the current land use map to see how changes are. I can also put text in. If you want to write out, so this map, we can put in this map. If we want to use a clear base map without the current land uses to start from, I'm fine with that too. I can switch to that map, just the basic base map of the village, and talk about that as well. So we can talk about land uses. We have a big part of this meeting dedicated, and I expect you to, I anticipate a lot of discussion on this as far as all land uses. And just remember, you have all those different land uses available to you in land use categories. Whenever the committee finalizes land uses in a certain area that will be ultimately recommended down the line to the Planning Commission and the Village Board, we will staff will add where all the known more additional wetlands are and everything like that. But if I know there's wetlands on a piece of property we're talking about, I'll mention it. And I can go to that layer too. So we have that out as a layer, but then I thought if you show that right away, then there's too many colors, conflicting colors on this map. Any questions?
Okay. So I guess, do you want Bruce and John, should we generally start this conversation there on the Wolf Run area?
I think it's best to break this into sections and kind of work your way around.
Okay.
And, you know, if you get stuck on a section, you can just throw it out there who has a piece of property in that area and has a comment or wants to talk about it. And I think there's a lot of people here that will, when the time comes, that will speak up.
Okay.
Well, one thing, I was going to point out earlier, this whole big section of business park land use, almost for the last 10 years, there's a piece of property owner right in here, up at the northern end of this, off and on has talked to the village about senior housing on that site. Just want to point it out to you.
So roughly, parcels roughly,
yeah.
somewhere in there.
So I just want to point out what we do know of, you know, some things that a long-time property owners talked to us about that. Just so you know, Wolf Run currently ends about right here where the cursor is. It stops right before there's a creek or stream that goes through there. To be extended, there would have to be a bridge put over that. So there's a part of this area that's currently was in the original tax incremental district on the east, just east of the Lynch dealerships. That was part of the original TIF district, tax incremental financing district.
Back out one. Okay. So if you were just looking at, for purposes of discussion, Tom, this area, generally in here, I think the parcels and people you're going to want to talk to are certainly the Greenwalds and Darwin's here. There's someone here to represent 3D greenhouses in the back property, and then there's also someone here to represent the summer property, and Carthy's also have land in here, right? So I think between those landowners, you have the majority of this area. And this stuff down here, staff doesn't have any recommendation to make any changes in here. And most of what staff has been discussing internally has been in reaction to landowners or developers approaching us. So I think it's best that we just work around. We'll start at one and talk.
We do know not that we have to, fully, go with what everybody's asking us to do. But the plan for this road was to be, this is the current eastern side of the Pro Health property. Lose the Pro Health because it's a quasi-public facility. But I understand that Pro Health now has the option to purchase the front end, correct?
It's not.
They're going to purchase the front end of the back property where the greenhouse is about right
To about here, sorry. Actually, you're here, and so is Ray. To about here. And that will happen regardless of what happens with the rest of the property, but it's all under contract. So
Can we go ahead and line that off then right now for?
sure. So this, just because of the usage, we should discuss if the future use here should be bright blue. Because I believe if you talk with Pro Health, their plans are to hold on to this for continued medical expansion. Yeah. And so we'll get a survey once the land is divided, we'll have an official line, but it's about, of the 105 acres, which again includes this square over here, it's about 52, 51, 50, something there, half and half-ish.
Yeah, probably the north end would be, or the south end would probably be a little bit bigger.
Okay.
Mr. DeBack is speaking. It's Mr. DeBack. You don't know who he is.
So you want us to put that line in?
Sure.
So that,
Clarification, sure.
so, while we're there, do you want to talk about future use of the remaining acreage?
Yeah.
What?
Does the board not know?
Well, I think,
Yeah.
yeah.
Let's see, this color short. I'll draw it out.
President Baruch.
Yes, I know, you're right, I'm not an expert. I did?
Yes.
We'll see how this shows.
Nice,
Like, yeah, okay,
that works.
That works, yeah.
We don't know, we know where that line was between me and Jim, because it's gonna shoot right straight across, basically.
Yeah, the Jim and Marilyn McCarthy property is right over, right here. Correct?
You don't have that line on there, do you, Bruce? Or-
Yeah, there's a line.
Oh, the parcel line?
The parcel lines, they're very faint, I really have to zoom in to see.
Can you scroll up?
Basically.
So it shoots across here.
So it's that line,
That line right there.
Okay.
That big line right there.
And what does that line represent then?
This would be, this dashed line should actually be up here.
Okay.
So this is the property that ProHealth has under contract. Everything from equal to the McCarthy property line, south on the map.
Go on, feel free to talk about anything else on that. As I'm,
So then do we have consensus that we should put that on the land use map, the same designation as current ProHealth? Yes?
Any objections to that there? That makes sense to me. Yeah?
No, I have nothing to add to that. It should be the same type of land uses.
That's our plan, which we discussed today.
That is correct.
Is that 50 some odd acres there?
ProHealth, that they're under contract for, 15?
Yes. Well, a little over half, so it's probably going from 54 to 5, somewhere in there.
For what?
ProHealth.
Yeah, 52-ish.
52.
John, what's the proposed land use category that you'd like us to apply to that then?
Bruce, what is that called?
institutional,
Take that little square out of there, too.
oh yeah, that's right, thanks. Thanks. Yeah. No, I don't get these lines straight through.
Excuse me, is it your intention to generate discussion from people who own property in this area?
Yes.
And that being said,
Can you state your name real quick, though, if you don't mind?
yeah, it's Dale Hickman,
Okay.
like your worst nightmare.
And some black shirt.
Yeah, I dressed tonight.
Okay, go ahead.
Pardon?
Go ahead.
Yes, I own a property between Arrowhead Drive and Wolf. That box that's right there. And I've been, what would you say, referencing it as a commercial. Is there something I should know about this area that's going to change with the other things that are going on here? Or is it,
Your parcel designation?
pardon?
You talking about your parcel specifically?
Yes.
We have no recommendation to make any changes.
Okay, so it's as is.
Yeah, I mean, in fact, you'll notice all of the recommendations staff would have are specifically based off of the recommendations that the property owners themselves have come forward with.
They're looking to generate movement on their property.
Correct.
All right.
Unless you have something, as Dale, something different. Do you have any suggestion for your property? Now, this Britton owns,
Deliver a buyer.
yeah, this,
I guess I do have a question.
this property right
That's
here,
when close.
here's the BP station,
Yeah,
and this is approximately 3 acres. Mr. Hitton also owns the office building on that site.
question to reference. I've had interest from other gasoline purveyors. Is being across the street from another gasoline circumstance, is that gonna hinder their opportunity?
Whose opportunity? The person who already has the gas station?
No,
or-
no. The person who's talking to me
Sure.
has an interest in the property, and he wants to put in
Sure.
wants to put in a gas facility.
The best way I can say this, because I can't, right, it's got to go through the planning commission, and there's 7 members there, and the board, there's 7 members.
There's nothing,
There would be nothing in our ordinances to currently prevent
Right, there's nothing at this time that would prevent someone from
applying for that
pursuing
conditional
that.
use permit on that parcel, you're correct, yes.
Do you have any other better ideas?
Hotel maybe? Price.
Hotel. I
But
used
that
to
would also, we
own
could
2 of
have,
them.
yes.
No, no,
What's the currently zoned?
Which B is that?
B3.
B3. The major difference between B2 and B3 is the setbacks, correct?
Setbacks, B3 is more geared for larger properties, that's why the greater setbacks.
all right.
Does that answer your question?
Yes, it does. I appreciate jumping to it.
I'm going to go back to the Garden property, because we had, there was a road proposed one time on the 60 acres on the top part, and you don't know where the roads are going.
Probably backs.
Correct. We're fairly, I mean, I can't speak in absolute terms again because the board votes on to pull the debt, pull the road. But Wolf Run circling and connecting with Maple is in the village's future plan. How that road eventually lays out will be largely dependent on which property owners choose to develop their property. I'm just going to pick on you because you're here and Ray knows I'm just speaking theory, but this road could swing down and cut in here and come this way, or jet back out along the property line with Pro Health. There's so many ways it could go. The reason it's dashed is because it's just the idea that someday Wolf Run won't be a dead end and it will connect with Maple.
Where do they have plans for that area?
Which area?
Where our 60 acres is in the house and Kevin has some.
That's currently zoned business park, correct, Bruce? Or the land use of business?
Yes, this is park, yeah.
Business.
And the agriculture in the back too, you have some agriculture that you're gonna have, or you have a category of list that you're gonna have for agriculture, or you're leaving some agriculture or not?
Well, that's, as we've talked about with the committee, yeah. Yeah, well, we'll be talking about that right now, soon.
Bruce, we need, just going back to Mr. DeBock's property there, do we need to make a, sorry, do we have other comments here?
Yeah, we have a question or comment when you're ready.
Okay, I just want to say, are we looking to make motions and seconds and get that passed? Is that the style of what's?
I think we should play with the map and kind of do it at the end.
Okay, very good. Okay. I'm sorry, go ahead,
I
comments.
just want to ask, the purple boundary on the east side there, where is that? Is that the end of McCarthy's or the end of the Bax farm?
That McCarthy's,
That's McCarthy's, all the way east.
yes.
All right.
So behind McCarthy's and part of Greenwald.
Right, Greenwald's in this area, Tobacco is in this area, and then there's McCarthy.
Bruce, could you advise some trust to that so we can?
Yeah, can you zoom in? See the parcel.
Where do you like,
Just if you could generally put some text on there with the property owner's name, just so we have a general idea of what names are referenced that we have.
try to find these property lines here. Okay. Just so you know, the software system, the text kind of changes size when I do that, so, but,
Just for now, we can remove maybe in 10 minutes or 15 minutes.
I'll just say,
Makes sense.
instead of spelling it out, it's spelled MC. Okay, sorry? Okay, yeah, okay? And you own that too? To the property to the east, you own that too?
Right.
Yeah, they own that too.
And that'll be approved just for residential.
Oh, wait, so what happened? Sometimes the Wi-Fi is, there you go. We'll slow it. McCarthy,
You want to put the square with that? You zoom in right there and don't go.
software, see, this is, talking about different.
Bravo would be mine.
Yeah. Now you have the, go on, what's there? East of the primary corridor is basically the Porter Farm. If many of you might know the Porters. Yeah. So yeah, that's the next step, as John just said, planning for the rest of this property.
Go on one more. All right, go on, zoom in one more. So that leaves, after Pro Health, that leaves, yes, this section of the back property.
That's what I asked you.
Mixed use.
What's the development activity going on there? That's just for everybody to know that.
Darwin, do you have any comments that they have your father or family for property there? Okay.
So did you all catch that? They're asking that the rest of the back property, the remaining 50-ish acres, be for mixed use. And they're talking with multifamily and retail developers.
We don't have, obviously, we don't have a mixed use color yet, do we?
No,
It's new.
no, and I don't have enough color palettes on this software yet. A couple months ago when I told you I could do that, there was available, but now the former software in GIS is not supported anymore, so they have to put a new software on most GIS systems, not only the village webs, GIS, but the county as well.
Could you zoom in one more and put a dashed line along the property boundary so it shows up when we zoom out, and then we can just write mixed use. Then we will see the size of the square.
Okay.
So you just put a polygon around the existing, the rest of this, figure here, down and across.
All this way. Okay, sometimes it doesn't stick. It's probably thinking.
Yes, please.
So it's mixed use, it could be condos, apartment buildings. or-
Yeah, I'll read you the land use category that applies to mixed use business here. I think there's some slight verbiage change to this from when we did this here. Do you have, John, do you have a current copy of what we approved last week? I got the copy that we started with, not the final product.
I can go through it after you want.
Yeah, but you don't pull it right up. I don't have a hard copy, it's fine.
No, they're not.
Keep going.
What's that? Do you have a copy of the newest one? Yeah, I got that, I have that one here. We made a- Here's what, we made a couple slight changes to this, but this is the definition we started with. We can give you a final definition here. So mixed-use business, land use category reads like this: where underdeveloped land or land with redevelopment potential in the village is within the interstate planning district. Those are the districts that we had talked about earlier. Or the Main Street River South planning district. So only within those two districts. Then with the addition of residential dwelling units or a combination of uses such as commercial, retail, office, or other related uses will enhance the business/commercial environment, efficiently utilizes land, provides housing choices to enhance an active and growing economic base with improved aesthetics of the built environment. Mixed-use development may be within a single dwelling units on upper floors or in separate buildings where the mixed uses functions are physically and functionally integrated. Sites designated with this land use category may be solely residential if compatible with existing or planned and approved adjacent business commercial uses in terms of pedestrian friendly, good traffic flow, and proper utilities to provide for the greater intensity of land use. So then there's a few more things that come with that there, but I'll just stop for a quick second. So it can be, first story can be like business, commercial, shops, things like that that customers would go to. And then above that can be second, third story apartments, things of that nature.
Is McCarthy's the same zoning?
Well, we haven't applied this yet to anywhere. We created the definition, we have yet to use it. But tonight, that's certainly where we'll be talking to shortly. But right now, as a matter of fact.
So could you give the people who are just showing up, could you give us like 30 seconds on why the potential developer is considering doing something that's both a residential and a retail component, and why they're targeting this area of the village?
Why? Because it was a suggestion of the village.
Sure.
So this all stems with, if everybody remembers all the great debate last year of the north end.
Yep.
So after that happened, that's how all this came about. That particular developer wants to build development in Mugwanago. They need a certain chunk of land. They were not able to find a certain chunk of land, so they hired me to find it. Called Doug. So we figured out, based on the feedback of all the public hearings and things, that the best place to put a high-density apartment complex was going to be south of the interstate. So, judging...
And that was based off not near existing residential,
Right.
not affecting the traffic flow through the downtown.
Right, so that's how we wound up here.
Okay. Thank you, Rick. Okay. All right. Was there anything else that, I guess, any other questions or that somebody had right now?
Does that mean that you put high density on the back property now, apartments? You went into plant and middle town?
Yes. Potentially, yes. That's what the committee decides on. Okay. Bruce, what's that triangle you have there? What is that actually?
Polygon that didn't fill in.
It did fill in, so
Now, our outlines will change what is important.
Just walk me through that one time there.
Just the outer boundary.
And what is that representing now?
It's mixed use.
That's the area that is being proposed for mixed use.
Correct. About 50 acres total.
especially when a Wi-Fi is not.
Bruce, you're doing your best, I appreciate it. I know it's hard. Especially when you have a lot of eyes on you. Okay. Given that proposal right there, what else do you have, John?
The summer property is under contract for development, so I would encourage you to talk. And it's mostly, I don't think the proposal's on there. I think the uses are very appropriate. It's just at some point, a line was put there to separate them, and the soils test may show that you can't build one of them there and go on the other where. So I think that the representative of the developer is going to talk more about using mixed use to integrate both the two developments. Stop and go lights are going in at Wolf Run this year. Yeah. At Wolf Run. Yeah, yes. We're required to do a theme. Yep. We're required to. We'll have a meeting about it in the future. We're haggling, I don't want to digress, but we're haggling about what type of signal goes in and if you can have a protected left turn versus stacking cars. And one of the village's primary objectives is, while putting the stoplight in, not closing Arrowhead Drive. Because we have businesses here that have semi-traffic, and to reroute the semi-traffic through here wouldn't be good for anyone. So while we're trying to get that put in, we also need to complete our objective of keeping the Arrowhead median open. So sometime this year.
So as John just said, this is the Summers property, and thinking about looking at that, not just independently, but look at the land uses around here. This is right here, they haven't spoken up, the Sugdens are here, representatives of the Sugden family are here, and this is the Sugden farm right here, everybody knows that. Again, planned for the northeast side of 83 as transitional residential, and then industrial on the other side. That's a Sugden farm. This is this orange is part of the Summers property, and then this is the property we're currently developing. The Greenwald's owned it, but with village assistance, we put the road in. The McCarthy's, their son Kevin, owns this 40 and this 40 right here, and a little sliver right along here, about 30 feet for the driveway. Is that correct? 30 feet for the driveway that comes out right here. The farm access road, the farmstead is, I think it shows up here somehow. Yeah, right there. Right, yeah, their access right there. And then, and then you go with the Schultz property, and further down there's other various larger and smaller tracts on Highway 83. And then I also want to point out, we have to talk as a committee, what are going to be the land use of the rest on the McCarthy's property, and east of the environmental corridor. If it all,
no change,
if we do the same, we have to talk about that, make sure we clarify that, including the property, these homes that are in the town of Vernon right now. Large lots are about 2 to 3, 4, 5 acres in size. There's about 6 or 7 lots around there. They did receive letters as well, inviting them to this meeting. Yeah. But this one has large lots in the family agricultural right now.
And again, with the remainder of the McCarthy property, we have no recommendation other than what the family would ask for. And the same with this section here, we have no recommendation to change that above and beyond what a property owner can ask for. It's just part of the overall plan, so we have to make sure we're covering all our bases.
At least as long as it fits in naturally, natural progression with land uses. I can tell you this environmental corridor natural area flowing through here was shown on the plan for this entire area since that what we called, at that time we called it the Gateway Plan in 2001, 2002 was approved. That was always the eastern side of the business area, the more highly developed area, and the thought process, the environmental corridor would be the buffer. You do that, and land that can be served by village sewer if it's ever available. So the sewer can get to this area east of the corridor. Not to say that we want to extend sewer there, to say it can be extended there ultimately.
That property south of ours there is split up to several owners.
Right.
Right here.
Yeah.
There's several owners in here. Yeah, that's all.
I think looks like there's 4 of them, unless that's just the subdivided. Well, the homes, yeah.
These just 2 properties over there.
But that would fall into here.
So, start talking about thoughts, land uses.
Can you remind me the right left of where you are, the orange and brown?
Transitional housing,
That is transitional housing?
otherwise referred to as medium density residential.
Okay.
Yeah, we did not, other than what we know that people have been talking to us, we do not have any preconceived notions, let's put it that way, from the staff level, what the land uses should be in this area, other than as your planner, obviously, one reason we recommended and you adopted the interstate planning district was to allow for higher intensity uses in this area corridor, because we see that as the marketplace, where the market is going, and for sustainability, as we talked about last time, of the village, and allowing putting the higher intensity uses here, not like I said, not going to build 20-story buildings, but separate that. There's a nice boundary there between that and some parts of the village.
The Greenwell family didn't have any comments, changes, suggestions for their parcel wrapping around Wolf Run. DeBack we covered. McCarthy's doesn't sound like you have any changes, leave it as it is. So that wraps us around here. Unless the committee feels differently or wants to ask a question, that wraps us around into here.
Where are we going here?
I started with Greenwell up here, that we have received no comment from Darwin. DeBack we just did. McCarthy's are suggesting we leave it as it is, and we have no objection unless the committee has further questions. Should.
I have a question. Is it all zoned the same? All that is in purple there, is that all the same? Or is that different? Each one's different?
It's planned for business. The McCarthy property is zoned A1. The back property that's east of the tax incremental district, the 35 acres in here, is zoned A1. This property in here is zoned B5, which is the zoning that was set up to be quasi-industrial, light industrial and commercial zoning. Pro Health is zoned B5 right now. That's the zoning of this area I'm showing right here.
So this, in the purple, you can get a mix of the light M zoning, manufacturing, you can get commercial, and we can probably even do office.
And the zoning, just so you know, the thought process of that, of the business park, and then the subsequent zoning that was adopted after the plan was done back in the early 2000s before shovel went in the ground for Home Depot and Walmart. But this area, the business park, could be a combination of commercial and industrial, because a lot of businesses are industrial, but they have a commercial component to them as well. And a good example is the Lynch dealerships that fit in right perfectly in this land use category, because it's, retail sell cars, but they also have automotive and auto body work, which is a more industrial component as well. So that was the intention. There's a lot of familiar with a lot of businesses where I've worked elsewhere in business parks, industrial parks, where a large part of their business is a showroom where they bring customers in and so on and so forth. So that was kind of geared for this, or ultimately the thought process, but that hasn't come to fruition, was that with Pro Health being there, or then Waukesha Memorial, that there could be a lot of medical research facilities in this area as well, in the business park. Maybe we'll see that ultimately, I don't know, but that was one of the theories, a thought process of making this business park, and with the connection of the road system. I do know that we talked about the Department of Transportation controlling access. Every time we meet with them, they always say, make sure your internal roads have two ways in and out, have interconnection. They always remind us or give us a nice little nudge about how the internal access. They don't control this internally, but they watch what happens with road access.
So for swinging, if the committee doesn't have any suggestions to make any other changes so far, that swings us down to the summer property, and then that's one of the last parcels that I think the developer representing the property is going to ask the committee to take a look at, and then we can switch the focus to the next region.
Okay. Sounds good.
Yeah.
So the summer property.
I'll outline it. I think you talk right.
Okay, we're thinking of planned use development. We'd like to see a mixture of big box retail, small retailers, kind of a retail shopping district. A lot depends on how the wetland delineation comes back and soil samples and all that, but it's early to tell, but that's what it's kind of under contract and slated. That's what we'd like to see there. across the street from the industrial.
Is that part of your urban heritage property?
No,
All, is all right next door?
no, it's south of Albany.
Is
All these, all
Yeah, okay.
Ray, are we talking, when you say we're not just talking about what's in between Maple and 83?
Yep,
We are talking just about that area, we're talking.
between Maple and 83, right?
Okay.
Not on the other side of 83. That was-
Chris just outlined it, but it showed up orange, so it's here, it runs along here, up, across.
Can you do the?
Although I did,
I
I did include Andy's property.
Right, and, right, and.
Yeah,
So, you back up. So it's all of this here, plus this parcel here.
Right. Now the parcel to the west